Hello and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be going over my most anticipated manga releases of 2022. These are manga that are going to start releasing next year, either a start of a new series or a re-release of a currently out of print series, or like a new sort of release of a current series that has got like a new edition or something. And yeah, let's get into it. Before I get into the video, all of these releases I shall be mentioning the UK release dates for. I don't know the rest of the world's release dates, so you would have to look it up. Anyway, these are in no particular order, except I'm doing like the BL and then the light novels at the end. So anyway, let's get into this. My first most anticipated release is Rose and Blood. This is already out in America, I do believe, but this is by Kachiru Ishizu and it's out on January 6th here in the UK, and it's by Viz Media. And Rose and Blood is a new shoujo beat about vampires, so of course I'm going to pick it up. There's this girl, and she's in a carriage accident. This takes place in like the past. Can't remember the time period exactly, but anyway, she's safe in this carriage accident by this group of boys, and they allow her to live with them, but then it turns out they're vampires, and like they're hiding some sort of secret, and she doesn't know whether they're planning on eating her or not, and it sounds like it has like a mystery aspect to it as well, and it sounded good, and I'm excited for this one. And it's not that long before it comes out either. It's the 6th of January. My next most anticipated release is Arisen Borderland, which might just be the one I'm looking forward to the most because I saw the Netflix series and I loved it, and I need to read this now. Arisen Borderland is by Haru Aso, and it's been released by Viz Media on April the 14th. Now, Arisen Borderland is like this game, like Squid Game-esque horror manga, where they're sent to this parallel Tokyo and they have to compete in these games in order to earn visa points, and the amount of visa points they have is how long they can stay alive in that world. So they have like 2 visa points, they can live for 2 days, and then they'll have to play another game before those points run out so they can get some more. So they have to keep playing the games in order to keep getting the points to stay alive, but there's also the mystery of how they got there, who's the game master, and all that, and it's just so good, and I'm excited to read this, and also for the second season of the live action, which will be coming out at some point too. It has been confirmed. Anyway, this is a 2-in-1. It contains the first 2 volumes. It's already complete in Japan, and we're getting it in this nice hardback release in a 2-in-1 format as of April. Our next release I'm looking forward to next year is Island in a Puddle, and this is a new mystery series from Kai Sanbei, the author of Erased and For the Kid I Saw in My Dreams, both of which I enjoy. This is getting released on March 15th by Kodansha. I don't know if this is a hardback or not, but his other 2 series are, so there's a good chance this one will be too, but it might not be, because his other 2 series are released by Yen Press. This is the first one that Kodansha's doing, so I don't know whether we'll continue to get hardbacks for his series or not. Anyway, Island in a Puddle is a mystery series that sounds so good. We have these 2 children, the older brother and the younger sister, who have been left alone. Their mother occasionally checks in on them, but not very often, so the older brother is tasked with looking after his little sister. The mother's out at clubs and like finding men and stuff. And one day the mother comes home and takes them to an amusement park just out the blue, puts them on the Ferris wheel, and then buggers off. So whilst they're on the Ferris wheel, there's like this flash, and like he's blinded for a minute, and when he's like, the flash is gone, he realises that his little sister's no longer there, and in her place is the corpse of a woman who he doesn't recognise, and now it's up to him to solve this mystery of where his sister is and who this woman is who's dead on the Ferris wheel with him, and how she got on there in the first place. Anyway, this sounded so good, and I've liked his work in the past. So I'm looking forward to this one. Next up, I have this series called Penguin and House. This is a comedy slice of life series getting released by Kodansha on the 1st of February. And this is by Akihiro Aida, or Ieda. This is about a grumpy little penguin who lives with this lazy college student, and he does all the housework. He does the dishes, he does the cooking, he does everything for this guy. But this guy can't speak penguin. So like the two of them can't understand each other, but this penguin's it's grumpy little penguins just doing all these chores for him, and it sounds very amusing, so I decided to give this one a go. Yeah, I think it's like episodic, but this penguin looks like interesting. Anyway, that's Penguin and House. By the way, there is 25 of these to get through. Next up, this is the best picture I could find for this one. It was a bit small, I've made it bigger. This is From the Red Fog by Masao Nohara. This is getting released on February 22nd by Yen Press. I'm pretty sure this is the only Yen Press one I have on this list. This is like a mystery horror-ish series that I don't know much about. The description is very vague. Again, this takes place in the past, but we have this boy, and he like grew up amongst suffering and sadness or something like that, and now there's a string of murders, and like he's kind of at the centre of them. The description for this one's very vague. I do not know that much about it, but it sounds mysterious, it sounds like it's a horror, it sounds good. I definitely want to give it a go. That's From the Red Fog. And next up, this is another small picture. This is Black God by Ryo Hanada. This is the author that wrote Devil's Line. And this is releasing on February 8th by Kodansha, or Vertical, I think, actually. And Black God is Ryo Hanada's new series. It's about this world where these ape-like monsters have taken over, and if the humans come into contact with them, they get infected and also become these ape-like monsters. So in order to combat this, humanity's built like these aerial cities that they are in the air, obviously. And there's made this set of people called the Black God, and it's their job to fight against them. And our main character is this dude on the cover, and he's a member of the Black God, but he has no like care for his own life whatsoever. So he's fighting these monsters, not caring whether he actually gets killed by them or not. I think he might actually want to get killed by them, I'm not sure. But this one sounded interesting, and I like Devil's Line, so I'm interested to read his new work. Yeah. Next up, I have Ceno. This is a manga based off of a mobile game, and when I heard that the mobile game was worked on by Yoko Taro, who did the Nier Automata and Dragon Guard series, I loved the Nier series. I just had to try it, and then I read the description, and it also sounds interesting. So yeah, Ceno. The manga is by Yoko Taro and Takuto Aoki. It's getting released on February 10th by Square Enix. And this is about Alice. She lives an ordinary life, everything about her's ordinary, but then she starts having these strange dreams, and where this marionette appears before her and starts tearing her things, and then she realises she has to compete in a death game with other fairy tale heroines in order to resurrect their creators, I think. The winner gets to resurrect their creator, so she's competing in a death game with fairy tale heroines in order... Well, she's just kind of drawn into it because she didn't like... Her life was completely normal before then, but this is Yoko Taro, and so that what made me interested in this one. Yes, that's Ceno. Oops. Anyway, next up we have Orochi, the Perfect Edition by Kazuo Umezu. This is a re-release, a hardcover re-release of Kazuo Umezu's Orochi series. And this is come out from Viz Media on April 14th. I've read The Drifting Classroom by Kazuo Umezu and I enjoyed that one. And Kazuo Umezu is one of the biggest inspirations for Junji Ito, who is one of my favourite horror authors. And Orochi, by reading the description of this, you can kind of tell that this is probably the biggest inspiration for Junji Ito's Tomei. This is about a woman called Orochi, and it's like episodic short stories about her coming into different people's lives and like wrecking them. A bit like Tomei, basically. So yeah, this is Orochi, the perfect edition. I'm interested to read more Umezu's stuff, and this one coming back into print gives me that chance. And I keep doing the wrong thing there. Next up is Box of Light. This is a horror one-shot manga about short stories revolving around this haunted convenience store, and this is by Seiko Erisara, and it's coming out from 7 Seas on July 12th. Yeah, it's a horror. I like horror manga. This one seems interesting. It's just a one-shot. We have this haunted convenience store and different things involving it, and it just sounded interesting. I'm always interested in a new horror series, so when 7 Seas announced this one on one of their Wonderful Wednesdays, I was intrigued, which is one of the few things that they've announced on Wonderful Wednesdays that has intrigued me. Next up is Junji Ito's The Liminal Zone. This is a new short story collection by Junji Ito. It's coming out on September 1st from Viz Media. This contains 4 different short stories from Junji Ito. Obviously, it's Junji Ito. Anything he brings out, I'm going to buy and I'm going to read it. I tend to prefer his short stories over his long-form works. I mean, I love Tomei, Uzumaki, and Gyo, but his more recent ones, such as Ramina and especially Censor, haven't been as good. So I'm looking forward to getting back into some more short stories, which I tend to enjoy more. Yeah, this contains 4 short stories. I have no idea what the 4 short stories are, it didn't say, but looking forward to this. Along with this next one, which is Junji Ito's Deserter, which is coming out on January 6th from Viz Media. This is more short stories from Junji Ito. I don't know how many, I think it's 8 or 9. I don't know, again, I don't know which short stories this contains. I just know it's a Junji Ito short story collection, that I'm interested in it because of that. Again, this is January 6th, so it's not that long into release. Some short stories I'm hoping to see, I don't think they'll be included, is The Town of Many Ways. I love that episode of the anime. I want to read the original manga of it. And then The Thing That Washed Ashore as well. I've heard good things about that, but I do not think they will be in this collection. I think these are some of his older works in this one. Anyway, next up is another short story collection, and that is Came the Mirror and Other Tales. This is a Rumiko Takahashi story collection, and it comes out on March 17th from Viz Media. It's Rumiko Takahashi. She's one of my favourite authors. I loved Inuyasha. I'm waiting for Mao. It hasn't arrived yet, but I'm looking forward to reading that one. So yeah, this is again a short stories from Rumiko Takahashi, with some involving this mirror, obviously. I don't know what the short stories are about, I just know it is short stories, and it's Rumiko Takahashi. So that's good enough for me to be interested in it. Anyway, next up is... Oops. Next up is Daily Report About My Witch Senpai, and this is a new shoujo, or it might be a josei. It's one of the other series coming out by Maka Mochida on January 18th, and this is 7 Seas again. And this is about this guy who works at this company, and his co-worker happens to be a witch. And she tends to like overwork herself, so he's taken it upon himself to like look after her and make sure that she's not pushing herself too hard and stuff like that. And it just sounded very nice. It's like one of the few new shoujos that I know of that are actually releasing physically next year, so that's one reason just to read it. Yeah, looking forward to this one. And the next one is another shoujo that's releasing next year, which I think there's actually only 3 or 4 on this list, which is a shame. Anyway, did I say when this is out? January 18th. This is January 18th. Next up is Imakoi, Now I'm in Love. This is a new shoujo beat. And it's by Ayuko Hata, who is the same author who did Wolf Girl and Black Prince, which never got an English release. I've seen the anime, it's problematic, but I really like it anyway. And I would like to see that get an English release, so maybe if this one is popular enough, hopefully. It's coming out on March 31st anyway, and this is a story of a girl who missed out a lot in middle school because she was too shy, so she couldn't really voice her feelings to anybody, so when she gets a crush in high school, she decides to just come out and tell the dude straight away. And to her surprise, he actually agrees to date her. So this series is about them dating. They start going out as a volume 1. And yeah, it's a shoujo. So I'm gonna read it. But that is the end of the first section, and now we're going on to section 2, which is the BL for next year. Now, there was several BL coming out next year that interested me. But if I put them all onto this list, then it would have been 50,000 of them. So I decided just to pick a few. And by a few, I mean 8. Yeah, I've narrowed it down from 20 to 8 for this list. But there is a lot more BL that I might type for as well. Anyway, the first one is Cyanoa Game. This one was meant to be out already, but it got pushed back to January 20th. And this is by Sublime, and it's by Yu Minaduki. And this is about this dude. I know this is a very well requested BL, and there's these 2 dudes. And one dude asked this other dude to tutor his sister. And they knew each other from high school. I think they used to be on the same sports team. And then obviously they start falling for each other, and obviously it's a well-known one. Everyone's been asking for this, I do believe. And yeah, I'm very interested in reading it. I also like the art. I think this cover's nice. Right, next up after that is its sequel, which is Change World by Yu Minaduki. This is March 17th by Sublime. It's the direct sequel to Love Nest. Love Nest? No, it's a direct sequel to Cyanoa Game. So yeah, it's the carry on of that. So if I'm going to read one, of course I'm going to read the other. And next up is Love Nest, which is the spin-off to Cyanoa Game. This is releasing on September 15th. Again, Yu Minaduki. It's Sublime. Again, if I like the Cyanoa Game and Change World, I'm going to read its spin-off. So here we are with that one. And then we have probably one of my most anticipated BL of next year, Lynx, which is by Natsuki Kizu, who is the author of Given. This was what she wrote before Given. It's a series of 4 short stories involving 4 different couples who are almost lovers, but not quite, and the things that link them together. It's Natsuki Kizu. She wrote one of my favourite BLs of all time, so if she's bringing out another series in English, I'm definitely going to be picking it up. It's by Sublime and it's coming out on May 12th. Now, highly anticipating this one. I will probably read anything this author brings out. Anyway, next up we're getting into the Tokyo Pop. Any single volume BLs by Tokyo Pop are usually very good, so I've just put them all on this list. Tomorrow Make Me Yours. This is coming out on May 24th. It's by Kaoruko Mayama. It's about 2 high school students who one likes the other, but then there's this girl who kind of likes him as well, and he's considering whether to confess to him or not. And then we have I'm Looking for Serious Love. This is coming out on Feb 15th by Shoko Rakuta. This one's about this country boy who moves to the city, and he comes into contact with his next door neighbour who is a very big playboy, and he wants absolutely nothing to do with him, but then this playboy takes on himself to start looking after this dude, and he's wondering whether he's fallen for him or not, or whether he's just playing around. And it's Tokyo Pop. Next up, this one sounds interesting. We have Yagi the Bookshop Goat. This is about a goat man who wants to work in a bookshop, but he's a goat, so he eats books. But he also has this ability to feel people's feelings when he eats books. And this is by Fumi Furukawa. It's out on April 12th. And anyway, this wolf guy called Okami decides to invite him to stay in his bookshop and work there if he promises not to eat his books. So yeah, I need to know whether this goat manages to not eat the books or not. Is that all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turns out there was only 7 BL on this list. I must have forgot to include the last one. I forgot to include it. Oh well. There was this BL coming out from Kuma. It's called The Song of Yoru and somebody or other. And it's like a music BL, and it just gave me Given vibes, so I was kind of planning to put that on the list, but I obviously forgot. But yeah, there was that one as well. That was the 8th. Anyway, this is the start of the light novels, which is section 3. So, the first light novel here is by... These are all by 7Seas, by the way. This is The Tunnel to Summer, The Exit of Goodbye by Mai Hachimoku. It's coming out on May 10th, and this was advertised for fans of Yoru Sumino. I really like Yoru Sumino's light novel, so I thought if this is for fans of Yoru Sumino, I will probably enjoy it. It's about a tunnel that if you go through it, you have your wishes granted, but you also lose years off your life as well as the payment. And then there's this dude who comes across this mysterious tunnel, and he's like deciding whether he should go through in order to find out what happened to his little sister. I think she was in an accident or something when she was a kid, and he meets this girl there, and it's about this mysterious tunnel. It's kind of sci-fi, along with this author's other work coming out next year, which is Wait For Me Yesterday. This is also Mai Hachimoku. It's coming out on the 5th of July. This is a time travel series where this guy goes back in time to save this girl or something like that. Something like that. It's a sci-fi slice of life series, a bit like the other one. Again, fans of Yoru Sumino, so I was interested. And this happens to be the last 2 on this list are Yoru Sumino. So we have I Am Brewing, Pain and Fragile, which is a coming of age story about 2 college students coming to terms with the fact that they may not be able to achieve their dreams because the real world doesn't always allow that. So it's like a coming of age story about college students kind of trying to achieve their dreams and deciding whether they need to give up on them or not. That's Yoru Sumino, of course. And the last one is I Will Forget This Feeling Someday, which is coming out on June 21st. This is also Yoru Sumino. This is a romance that is like cross dimensions, so a bit Your Name-ish, I suppose. We have this guy, Kaya, I think he's called, who goes to this bus stop, and when he's at this bus stop he sees this girl who's from another world, but she's not actually properly there because she's from this other dimension, but he can see into this dimension, and then she could see into his dimension, and they kind of fall for each other through the dimensions. There's of course a kind of a mystery aspect as well about why this is happening and stuff, and it's Yoru Sumino. I'm gonna read it. And yeah, that is all. That is the majority of the manga I am looking forward to that are coming out next year. Obviously there will be more announced in the future across the months that I will probably be interested in as well, and there's a few more BL that I couldn't fit on the list because I wanted to keep it to 25. I didn't want to maybe go over that, and then I still forgot to include one, but I think I was still at 25 anyway. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and what manga are you looking forward to reading next year? You can tell me that in the comments if you're interested. Anyway, that is it for this video, and I will see you for another one, probably next year. Yeah. So, bye bye.